this corner. It's another terrific Thursday on tonight. I am glad to be before you guys on tonight. Listen, check in with us tonight. Let us know that you are here. Any questions that may come up, we ask that you join us in. If you want to keep up with Lolita, listen, find me everywhere, y'all. I'm on Facebook, YouTube. Just find me, Dr. Lolita Cleveland, Crumb Enterprises. Listen, if you are a business owner and you are wrapping up the end of the year, I suggest you get my new book, The Global Plug. Make sure you get it. It is definitely needed. You can definitely keep up with me there. So, welcome to the show tonight. We're talking about a hot topic, relationships, right? What's not said. I don't know about you guys, but I am excited. I am on with the wonderful Mr. Ricardo Waddy. Listen, y'all, I love his perspective. I love his conversation about relationships. So we just gonna talk a little bit about relationships. Send us some love. Let us know you there. Shoot out a question. Listen, welcome to the show, Mr. Waddy. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me, love. How are you?
Listen, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell y'all, he don't do a show for no anybody. I feel so special, y'all. He not doing no show for everybody. So look, this whole relationship and what's not said sort of derived from a general conversation you and I had. And I'm going to start the show right there. We were talking about double standards for men and women. We got to talk about it. We have to talk about it, right? So he made this comment, y'all. He was like, they call women, I don't know, hookers and hoes. I said it live. When they do something they have no business, and then they call men dogs. Is that where it stemmed from?
I said they call men players,
Players. Come on, clear the
or
air.
or men are glorified when we're promiscuous or we're doing the things that women may be doing, and women are considered hoes.
Okay.
So that's how it started, and I just feel like it's a lot of double standards
Okay.
in our society when it comes to men and women, and unfortunately, women take the brunt end of it majority of the times, and the men are, cheered on. So that's how it started.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that we are faced with that though? Do you think that that's the way we are in society? Are we navigating that way nowadays?
I think we've been navigating that way for a long time. When I just had a conversation not too long ago about the way young men and young women date, or when we look at marriage, and I
Okay.
think the foundation of that starts pretty young for us. Young
Okay.
ladies are told to hold or keep their virginity as long as they can and wait for a man. And young men, while in a locker room or just on the block doing what we do, are glorified. And so
Mm,
when we get into our later adulthood and women are looking for men for marriage and men are looking for women for marriage, the behaviors of men generally aren't the behaviors of women. And
mm.
so you can't have, or you can't be looking for an outcome. A woman is looking for a knight in her shining armor. And we see that, often we don't arrive. And
Okay.
it's different reasons why.
Okay.
Um, the
You know,
foundation in which we push relationships for young women and young men are different.
mm. What do you mean
So
by different? Well, first of all, you said something that you said that women you said something about dating and women looking for a mate or marriage and men looking for a wife and marriage. Women shouldn't even be looking if we go. Tell me you that made you uncomfortable. Come on, talk
no,
about it now. Don't be trying to hold back your thought.
I'm not uncomfortable. I mean, I don't. When I say looking, I don't mean like a woman is just out looking, but I
Well,
think
some of
you
them
know,
do.
and they do. You're right. Most women do have the expectation or the desire to be married. Most women.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by
Okay.
looking. They have
All
the
right.
expectation they want to be married.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
So, but no, go ahead. They do want to be married, but you said it's different for
When
men versus women.
no,
So what is
so
that difference?
so again, when you look at the foundation, I started it. The young women are taught certain morals and values when it comes to keeping herself and waiting for that day.
Okay.
Young men generally aren't taught the same thing. Why is it that a young woman is valued? And I'm not saying that they're not and that they shouldn't be, but young women are taught to be valued and hold themselves or keep themselves. And you never hear the young man being told to keep himself as if he's not as valuable. So
Mm,
right there, you have an uneven playing field, if you ask me.
okay.
That's just how I look at it.
That's true. And that's something that's not always talked about either. Because men are not always groomed to be a husband or to prepare himself for marriage. Is that where you going?
No, most men aren't grown for marriage.
Hmm.
So, a lot of women, and that's, we have to look at the root of these expectations, right?
Okay.
Key. Most men have not been groomed to court a woman.
Mm,
Ask a young man what courting is. You ask some grown men what courting is. Not all. That's why I'm saying some. They don't. And like, what is that? You know what dating is, but most haven't heard the word courting. So when you have, but we have the expectation or the desire to have something, but don't have the proper foundation to actually achieve that. So
that's
this is
true.
why you have a lot of women. There's so many bleep boys or men out here, right? And X,
Right.
Y, and Z, but you have to look at the background of that man. Not what you currently see, but what is the background? What is the history? And when it comes to how has he been raised? What has he been taught when it comes to what your expectations are as a woman in this dating or marriage world? Most men don't have that.
That's
Most.
true. That's why we need more men who do have that to be great mentors to the next generation. That's my plug, gentlemen, to get out there and let's groom these men. So look, when we talking about all of these relationship and men and women, I have found that there's a lot of areas that gray areas that people don't like to talk about in relationships.
Let's
What are
talk.
some of, huh?
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So here's an area. So let me say it like this. Most of the time you hear baby mama drama syndrome that's
Mhm,
totally affecting our community. I'm just so over that complete term. That's
mhm.
one. Two, people have a hard time. They get in, well, at least it's still a part of the baby mama drama because now they talking about child support and all of this, and it leads to, it's like a ripple effect. The impact of a relationship becomes a ripple effect.
Which one you want to talk about first?
Come on, you got the flow. Wherever you go, I'm gonna go.
I mean,
Because that's a lot in one, right?
I
It's
mean,
a ripple effect.
I think the baby mama, baby daddy is derogatory. There's
Come
no
talk.
there's no respect in that when a man calls a lady his baby's mama in my mind, and there's no respect for the man when a woman calls or when a woman is referring to the child, to the father of a child as baby daddy. I think it's derogatory and disrespectful personally. I mean, others may feel different, but it just there's no value in that. It didn't come from a statement, or when it was first coined, it wasn't valuable. It was negative. So and even though we use it loosely in conversation, the root of it is negative. So when you really think about it, how can you have value when you're saying that's my baby daddy or that's my baby mom? No, you generally there's some form of that's the next step above bleep 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 in my
Right.
mind. In
That's
my
true.
For
That's
me,
true.
you know. Um
You might as well
So
call her a female dog. Is that where you going with it?
yeah, I mean, you
Okay,
might as
come on.
well.
We uncut tonight. Whoever don't like it, it's okay.
We
But
cool and we might be slightly cordial and we may co-parent sometime, but when we're in a co-parenting, we're that's my baby daddy or my baby mama. But when we're at odds and in separation, is bleep 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 bleep.
yeah,
So
that low down joker, scoundrel,
you know,
all of those type of words. And here's the thing that I have found as a ripple effect from that term, and it's just my thoughts, right? We get comfortable in that, and then it begins to impact the child. And at what point do you make a mature decision? Because some of these mothers, and it's some fathers too, but right now we on the topic of mothers for this few seconds right here, hollering at the child, you just like your daddy, just foolishness. Like, stop that. What is that? I'm taking the baby from you. I'm disappearing for 2 or 3 days with your child. It just when do we get these relationships in order?
well, again, the relationship being in order starts at the foundation of building relationships. And
Mm,
that's young men and young women at the very right early age, 9, 10, 11, when relationships are being formed. And I'm not using relationships as in at 9, 10, 11 as boyfriend, girlfriend, but just even understanding and having the respect of a relationship for a friendship. A lot of times we don't talk about platonic relationships, which are just as important as loving or lover relationships, right?
that's
And
true.
so I just think, we have to first find a foundation of being good friends to each other. And a lot of us don't have that because of the things that we may see or have seen coming from our households. A lot of that behavior is just learned behavior. So we take those things into our friendships, which then go over into our relationships.
That's
So,
true.
but you touched on the child support piece, and I just believe that child support isn't always the best option for our men and women. There are a
I
lot of
agree.
I'm not saying that, and I say that because I believe that there are a lot of great fathers who are put on child support by bitter women through, and not all women are bitter, but by bitter women, and um, I just feel like we have to be able to determine whether a man or a woman is a deadbeat. It's just
That's
so
true.
easy to go put somebody on.
Mm-hmm.
Every man that's on child support don't deserve to be on child support, and every woman that may be on child support might not deserve to be on child support.
That's
So
true.
when I look at it, it is a tool for the courts to continue to make money, and it's definitely a tool to continue pushing separation amongst the black collective of men and women.
Oh man. Now you touched on something. Because
You
I always say that's a part of systematic, oh well, let me be nice. Let me
know,
stay
it
over here.
is. It is. Go ahead. It is a part of the
Yeah.
systematic. You can call it because it's a form of oppression, if you ask me.
Okay.
Um, there are things in that system that just don't work. And as long as it's a benefit to one and not the other, depending on whether you are the person that's pursuing or the defendant, however they word it in these cases. But a couple things, just men who work that fall behind lose their license. But what if
Mm,
this is a man who truly wants to work and who's truly trying to provide? That may need means of transportation is driving, who may have the means of a vehicle to get to work, but now his license is suspended. And
mm.
no, for those that want to say, oh, he's making excuses, no, I'm not making excuses. I'm talking about those men or women because child support isn't just men. There are women who are on child support, probably just as unjust as some of us men that are on as well, but there's some things that we need to look at. It's just not right.
It's not. And it's so many layers to the child support. When I think about child support, and I know some good fathers that has been on child support. What gets me is a lot of times those that are on child support, male or female, is really uneducated to where the money go. Because if you are getting SNAP benefits from the state, your child support is going to the state and you getting $50 cash. Please tell me how that's going to help you get a pair of shoes for your baby. And if you in the local urban black community, child, you're buying Air Jordans and Jordans are not $50. How
No,
you feeding your baby? You getting $300-400 in food stamps, but you struggling with your light and gas bill. I mean, how does that really make sense?
it don't make sense.
It doesn't. And sometimes I think that some people, as you said, not all, whether it be men or women, that are bitter to go through this whole child support, it makes you more bitter.
Mhm.
Just the relationship didn't work, Shaniqua. Cut it out. It didn't work. And he is willing to help you. He don't have a lot now. He may be getting there, or he may have a lot, and you need to let it go. Listen, he want to be with Shanice, not Shaniqua. It's
Correct.
okay. Maybe y'all just was oil and water, and you wasn't a fit. But now you are a mother, and your best interest of being a mother or a father is that child. So at some point, you have to become mature, meaning you may need to search your inner self. You may need to search your inner self and work on your inner self to help you get to a mature place.
You know, another thing that we don't talk about with relationships, and so when I speak of relationships, again, I'm not. I want us to be open minded and not just look at relationships from a lover standpoint because there are many relationships. You know,
Mm,
father son, mother daughter,
mhm.
uh, grandmother, grandchild, aunt,
That's it.
uncles. You know,
Father, daughter, right?
friendships. So it's so many type of relationships. I believe that the foundation of what a relationship is can go across the board for all relationships.
True.
Um, come on, hit me with something.
He want to go so deep, y'all.
I do.
He just want to
I
get
know.
started.
I know.
Listen, let me say this when you were talking about the different relationships. Let's touch on this father-daughter relationship,
Mhm.
right? I know you have a daughter with a little cute self. Um, when I think of father-daughter relationships, sometimes I think that a missing father or not as involved father impacts um, a woman, a girl turning into a adolescent, turning into a woman, has an impact on her. Because I always say, I don't, guys don't open the door for me. I look at them crazy. Guess why? Because my dad always opened the door for me. But I think that that is missing. And I also think that dads have a big impact on their daughters' lives, right? So do you stay? Some people stay in marriages and relationships for their kids. Is that really healthy?
So I know what I came off my thought pattern, but when I was talking about the ships of relationships,
Mm-hmm.
first I want to say that I think that a father is needed for male and female,
True.
and I think when I it's just no knock to anyone who uses their pronouns and whatever lifestyle you choose, but the order is man and woman, and when you subtract one from the equation, you're bound to have something out of order, and anything that's out of order is dysfunctional.
True.
So, I don't think our young men and young women need both parents. But one thing that we don't touch on when it comes to the overall scope of relationship is the word emotional intelligence and just being
Talk
able
about
to,
it.
to deal with ourselves and understand ourselves from an emotional standpoint. Just being able to look at what you feel, why you feel, how you feel, and being able to process and reflect these things. I believe that this within itself is a reason or the reason we have a lot of issues at hand across
The
every
board.
relationship.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when I look at young men, when I work in the schools and I look at young men, I see young men struggling emotionally, not being able to identify where that feeling comes from. not
Oh
being
man.
able to process and reflect on why he feels this way. So the first thing that they do is react with anger, and anger is usually a defense for us. The minute you get into it with somebody, one of the two usually yell, get loud, defense, but don't really
Mhm.
know emotionally, don't know how to process and work through their emotions. This is why I believe this is why we have a lot of fights, a lot of shootings, because young men aren't able to process themselves emotionally. So even with the young women, within these relationships, I think we need to first learn how to deal with ourselves from an emotional standpoint. No one can control what they feel. If I say something to you and you're not, expecting it, you can't control one what I'm going to say, and you really can't control how you feel. But what we do have control over is how we respond to what we feel. And
That's
when it's
true.
negative, generally the first thing we use in response is anger, force. So I think we need to get um, to a point where it takes practice, where we're practicing one emotional intelligence, not understanding it from um, book, just straight book theory, but really understanding it how you identify emotional intelligence within yourself. So hopefully I didn't go too far left.
No, that's good because when you get to talking about emotions, the first thing that came to mind is what has always been said to men, that men shouldn't cry.
And that's a big problem. That's a major problem that
Yep.
stems from the age of 4, 5, 6. Women, generally single mothers, sometimes even men. So I'm not just gonna put it on single mothers, but just in general in our culture, the minute a young boy falls, all boys don't cry. And what we don't understand is that that's the first sign of telling him to suppress what he feel
Right.
emotionally.
Yep.
Now he grows into an adult man and he's dating this woman, or even during his teenage years, you like, this little mother is just so rebellious. He doesn't
Mhm.
express himself. We need to get him therapy, but nothing is working. And now he's an adult man in a relationship, and she like, this fool just don't communicate. But he's been taught to
Right.
suppress
Yep.
his emotions from an early age. And we're
Yep.
not looking at, again, what I said in the beginning of this, the background, the root. What is the background? What is his foundation? Oh, it ain't that he can't communicate. All his life he's been told men are this, men are this, men are this, men are this. And that, those are not things that men truly are or what we should be doing. But
Right.
unfortunately, that's what we take to. And now, we believe that this makes me a man.
That's
So I
true.
don't know how to communicate. I'm not going to communicate. Or if I am communicating again, we're communicating with what? Vulgar, anger, yelling.
Right. And the list can go on and on and on.
Yeah,
Right.
we can write 100 of them.
Right. So we did get a couple of people that asked us a couple of questions when we took a poll. The question was, what are some things that you think every relationship needs to be real about? Now let me start right there, and I'm probably gonna start some trouble right here. I think that men should just be honest with women, right? I never knew that there were so many shy men in the world, and they don't keep it real. Like if they interested in a woman, they'll sit back and watch her from afar. I think they should be real and say what they feel.
Again,
They not
confidence, confidence being suppressed as a young man.
oh
A
man.
lot of these things that you see or identify as negative or improper characteristics of adults in general generally stem from their childhood.
That's
That's
true.
more than likely a man who did not have confidence as a young man.
That's true. So what are some things you think every relationship should keep real? That's the question now that they gave.
Um,
He gonna smile.
so we're talking about adult relationships here.
Yes.
Um, um, I think communication has to be
Okay.
open. Um, uh, just be upfront about what you expect. what I've learned is honesty. A lot of times, what men don't really understand is if you just really tell her what you want, now a lot of times she be with it.
She be with it. He say she be with
Just,
it.
just
That's
tell her what
true.
you want, because a woman can respect a man that's just gonna keep it real and say, "Hey, this is what it is. This what it ain't," and you're either going to walk into it knowing on the front end what's up versus me taking the option of you to decide whether or not this is what you want from you. Generally, if that's what if she cool with it, she going with it. That's what we
That's
fail to
true.
realize. And it's just, I think it leaves more room for her to respect you as a man at the end if there is an end.
Okay.
You can keep the friendship there if you go in that way
Okay. So
versus
honesty and
honesty,
communication,
communication.
saying how you really feel, what your expectations are. So those some good ones. Those some good ones. I
Um,
like those.
that's just the ground basis of it. I mean, when you
Okay.
get to talking a little deeper into different things, I mean, it's different levels to the relationship status. It's 2022 now, and
Yep.
dating versus a date is different for men and women. So, we
Yes.
use
And
a
you
lot
know
of
what my motto is. I'm
tell us
not
model.
listen, my motto is this. Listen, I'm dating to get data.
Somebody,
Listen,
I heard that not too long ago. I'm
listen.
gonna get
We're
data.
not playing no games on no date. Okay? We need to collect data. Trust me, a woman knows in a certain amount of time. You give me a timeout. Come on, let's talk about it.
A
Listen,
man knows in a certain amount of time. Let's be clear.
that hello.
Let's
So
be
why are we around here playing these little games?
sometimes you just want what you want.
Oh, okay. Come on now. Okay.
And
So it depends upon the type of date.
yeah,
They be
well,
dating to have a booty call, and some are dating to look for a wife.
right. So there's a difference between dating for a booty call and dating with intentions. And
Mm,
often um most of us or most women, I'm gonna just be real, most
come
women
on.
feel that they're dating with intentions and men aren't. So
Not always true.
again, but and yeah, but again, if you just, tell her what it is, look, I just want A, B, and C, she might go with that
Okay.
versus leading her on to thinking that y'all gonna be together. Oh man, we gotta talk. Hold on, we gotta talk. But leading her on to think that y'all gonna be together and it's gonna be a happy ending, and the whole time that was never your intent.
That's true.
But dating for data is a coin term moving forward for 2022. But what I see is um a lot of men and women don't know how to date. One, I know the women
Mm.
gonna be mad, but don't know how to date.
Now
Two,
wait a minute. Now
I'm gonna get to it too. Um, for the women, if you really want to date for data and you're dating with intentions, I think you have to have the right questions.
I agree.
Not just any question, but the right questions. And a lot of times, even just out of relationships, outside of this dating in a relationship, we don't ask the right questions. We ask questions, but they're often not the right questions.
Well,
So I
give us two of the right questions.
no, y'all need to have at least 50 good questions, not
You right.
open-ended, very direct questions, that a man can't skate out of.
That's true.
And and you're looking for the signs. A lot of times we don't have boundaries with dating.
Mm,
And it's, yo, I'm dating, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this. And if it's not there, then that if that's not what you're looking for, don't continue dating. A lot of times we push ourselves past that boundary.
that's true.
So
That's
you can't be mad at him, be mad at yourself.
that's true. That's true.
Or you can't be mad at her, because there are good men out here dating with intentions, and there are bad women just like there are bad men. So once you push yourself past your boundary and you continue, maybe maybe, and it's like maybe, but it ain't there. But he has or she has potential. Potential ain't enough.
That's true. My grandmother always said you don't date potential and you don't marry potential.
Correct. So set your boundaries, ask the
That's
right
right.
questions. Uh,
Okay.
you know, and I'm sure most will find some success because they be asking the wrong. You ask, like dating now is just like we. I know there's an older crowd, but I'm kind of in between the older and the young folks, and so dating now is like, man, we go out, we go on a date. That's a date.
Okay.
We go out, we go on a date. That's still a date. The truth is, women, he is not your man until he asks you to be his woman exclusively.
Uh-oh.
So it
Ooh.
doesn't matter if y'all been on 15 dates in 6 months and y'all spent a lot of time and y'all having great sex, because that's generally what happens. We
Tell the truth.
we go on not dating, we go on dates, and dates becomes dating. But technically, I'm not yours until I ask you to be mine. Would you be my lady? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Would you be my lady exclusively? We dating openly? Are we dating exclusively? Like,
Big
if you
clip.
see, I just gave y'all the right questions, and I said I wasn't gonna do that, but I did just give it to you. You're not asking the right questions,
Right.
but we're spending all the time together, right? And we're doing all the things that under the foundation of dating and not dates, because they're two different things. I keep saying this for a reason, because y'all done been on a lot of dates over 6 months. Don't mean that y'all dating. I mean
That's
y'all
true.
been out on dates, and
And you
y'all
need to be
good
clear.
food and drinks, and whatever happened afterwards just happened amongst two mature, consenting adults. But that don't mean we together.
That's true.
Unfortunately, that is the dating scene.
That's
And
it.
if you want to date with intentions, you have to start asking the right questions and looking for the right answers, and knowing that when it is outside of your boundaries, then you have to make the decision whether or not you really want to move forward. Some
Okay.
people, some women just really want to be in something.
That's true. Because I
And
don't do no exclusive dating now.
a lot of
No
times our women,
exclusive dating. But okay. We just talking now. We just having
exclusive
conversation.
dating is
Me and
called
you would we'll chat after the show because I know you're gonna ask me about that comment. But I don't do all of that exclusive
I mean,
dating.
that's fine. She said it's not in her world. I'm not here to debate. And
In
it
who
looks.
world? Oh, you looking
I'm
at
reading,
chat.
yeah. And again, see, and that's the thing. We have to stop accepting societal norms and what society says.
That's right.
You got to do what works for you,
That's right.
right? A lot of our behavior and our norms come from what our mother told her, what our girlfriend told her, and in the back of our mind, we be thinking something totally opposite, which may be what's right for me. What's right for me may not be right for you.
That's true.
Just because it's wrong for somebody else don't mean it's wrong for me. This is just what works for me. A lot of times we suppress or we undermine ourselves internally just to
Mm,
appease and please other people. I gotta
and
take
that's right
home.
there.
This the right man for my this. He look right for my family, but is he right for you?
Right. And when you get to talking about what's right, I think that that's how a lot of people also get caught up in these living together situations.
6 months and you in.
Yeah, I can't. I'm putting them off the show. Listen, but I know a lot of people. They stay in a relationship for their kids.
Oh
They're
man.
unhappy. I don't believe in being unhappy, but okay. So listen. Here's the other question before we wrap up. Uh, what is your thought? The question is, what is your thought about the man or woman? It could be either one.
Mhm.
Most of the time, they talk about women being successful and not wanting to date the garbage truck man.
That's a goddamn shame. That's a loss on her. I'm sorry.
Boom,
I said God.
censor
I didn't say
off
God.
the
I said
show.
God. That, but no, no. Hold on. Let me tell you why.
Oh, I'm gonna have to put them off.
Here, no, okay. You can put me off
Put
after
'em
I
off.
say this. Your finances, your home, your degrees does not determine who you are, nor
Mm,
should it determine him, right? Oh, we know when we look at these statistics, our black women are generally, currently, possibly, if you're really reading it correct, are probably leading or making more money than black men nowadays, right? And yeah, all right, she's at 150,000, and character is everything. I agree, and she wants a man to match her 150,000. Well, ask a woman who's making 150,000 personally, how many men do she know personally that make 150,000? We're not talking about the basketball players. We're not talking about the entertainers, and we're not talking about the ones that make 150,000 that are already married. So you got three that's out of the category. We talk about 10. The other seven is what? Come on, be real. Look at it for what it truly is, right? This is what I mean by some women will settle and be single because they won't accept. So, and y'all might not like it. It is what it is. A man making 150,000 might be a scumbag, might be cocky, might be conceited, might not have everything. You had a gentleman that's making 40, 50, 60,000. He's a great guy, a great candidate,
hmm.
right for you,
Treating you good.
treating you exactly how you want to be treated. But because he's not bringing in what you're bringing in, you want to accept the relationship. You're constantly looking for something that's not there, and what you want is right in front of you.
Oh man. Oh man.
So a
Listen,
lot
you
of
have
and he, my man, keeps saying the character. We fail to the foundation of any relationship, friendship, kinship, lovership should be character. A lot of us deal with these relationships with people and loverships, friendships based on environment, where we come from, and we overlook the character. Oh, she talk about everybody. She talk about everybody. She finally said something about she talk about everybody to you, and then you finally hear your information come back to you from somebody else. Then you know you only told this person, and you shocked and mad that you hear your information, but it was okay when she was talking to you about everybody. You're not
mhm,
excluded.
right.
Character is everything. So
Character is
we look at it the
everything.
same way when we deal with these relations, when we deal with loverships. Character. Come on
That's
now.
true.
So if the man who makes 40, 50, 60,000 has great character over the man who makes 150,000, or you can't find a man making 150,000 and you got a man that's in the 50, 60,000 range and he's a great candidate, take him. Make the money work. It's not about the money. It's supposed to be about the love.
Isn't? Some people say it's about the vision and what we could do together to make it grow.
And if you can put the 150 with another 50, y'all got 200,000 coming in one
Listen, we can do a
household.
whole lot with that 200,000.
Below your means and make it work.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
So
man.
listen, I got some people that say it need to be a part two with you. Oh my, oh, now somebody say Maya Angelou said it best. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. You know what? This one here. Listen, Mr. Waddy, I have enjoyed you tonight. Lolita's Corner is about everyday topics with everyday people. Listen, we have had some fun. We've had some tough topics. Now, listen, don't be going to throw me and Mr. Waddy name under the bus because I cleave your tongue to the roof of your mouth. That's what I said. Listen, it's conversation, it's topics that people don't want to talk about. So, Mr. Waddy, listen, they say we need a part two. I think we need a part two. Him and I would definitely have to talk about him coming back on. But I definitely thank you for the topic. Relationship, things that are not said, things that are not discussed. So we are glad you came on tonight. I appreciate it. We hope to see you soon on Lolita's Corner. What you read? Look at him, y'all. He's so illegal right now.
Like,
He trying to read all them comments. He's supposed to read.
if you don't make the money anymore, will he still be there with you? Well, it wasn't about the relationship in the first place, if you ask me.
Oh, that was a question. I didn't see that.
It said also, so it was
Oh,
more so a statement.
also think okay, it was more of a statement. Okay, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Look, catch us next week. We have a new guest, special guest next week. We popping up. for the next 3 weeks with some new people and some new topics. Y'all, it's a miracle. Mr. Whitey did a live, y'all. He is not, and then he's sipping wine, y'all. What I'm gonna do with him? Listen, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Is it anything you want to say to the people? One last comment. What you want to say?
Um, love yourself.
That's powerful. And loving yourself starts with the inner man. Do some inner searching about yourself. Thank you so much. We are glad you joined us. So tonight, we'll see you next week. Take care. Have a great